Hi kids, do you like violence? Want to see me stick 9-inch nails through each one of my eyelids? Want to copy me and do exactly like I did? Try it and get messed up worse than my life is? My brain's dead weight, trying to get my head straight, but I can't figure out which Spice Girl I want to impregnate. And Dr. Dre said, Zozo, you a basehead. Then why's your face red? Man, you're wasted. Anyway, Eminem, y'all gotta know by now. I love Eminem. Anyway, today I'm talking to myself. That's right. I'm talking to me. Now, how should we actually call this name? Because there's always debates. There's always debates out here. There are debates about how we
Oh,
should address the name.
hello,
Hey, how you doing?
hello. I'm in the building. I'm
How
in
are
the
you?
building.
I
I'm
see you. You're
good.
literally
How
in the
are
building.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm very good. I'm very good.
It's been
Someone's had
a
a very.
minute.
I know, right? When's the last time I saw? It's been months.
It's been months. It's
Oh
been that
dear.
long.
Ah,
It's
that's
been
not
that long.
good. That's not good. Like we're literally like in the same city. You literally live down the road from me.
I know. And you
That's
still
messed
got
up.
that pink jean. Apparently, you've been saving. Apparently. I'm
A
not going
pink
to say
gin, yeah,
anything more
it's
about that.
yeah, It's still here. It's still here somewhere. But
Mhm.
I was gonna say my so obviously so we have the same name, right?
We
I'm
do?
trying to
Mhm.
yeah, I'm trying to figure out, right? So do you have any problems with me calling myself Neo? Because every other Neo has a problem. Remember? Yeah. Do you have an issue with me being Neo?
I don't, but it's weird though. It's weird.
Why?
You know? Just because
Why?
I'm used to being the only one.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so
Okay. Oh,
it's
from
kind
that
of
perspective.
weird when there's another Neo. It's confusing as well. Like it does get
Mm.
confusing because you're just like, wait, me? No, it wasn't me. Okay,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah. You know what's really confusing? That night, how there was four nails in the building,
Yeah, that was.
right? And every time you heard someone go, "Hey, yo, Neo," then we'd all go, "Yo," and we don't know who it
All
was
of
for.
us.
That is the most nail. Do you know that the other Nell lives here as well now?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, so now there
No.
are four
So
Nells here.
there's like
I
four of us now.
I feel like that's a bit much. Do you want to move?
Pardon?
Do you want to move or?
No. I'm just kind of trying to figure out the
Oh
angle,
no
like,
no
or the lighting and
no
stuff.
no! I was talking about moving from Melbourne because there's too many of us.
Oh,
Is what
because
I'm
there's too
talking
many
about.
Neos. Yeah, I
Too many
might
of
just
us.
have to. I feel
I
like I'm
think
being
so.
driven out.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, because like you do get a little bit disappointed when like the Neo they were calling wasn't you.
There you go. You know what I'm
You know,
saying? No, I know.
I
Yeah, I
feel
know
it a little
exactly.
bit. I feel it a little bit.
Listen, I know what you're talking about. My name on my previous Instagram. You remember what it used to be, or maybe you don't. But
Yeah,
it was the only now. The only now.
I do remember, and I was like looking at that. I'm like, no, you're not.
Yeah,
No, you're
but
not the only Neo.
look, Mark Zuckerberg took it from me, so it is what it is, man.
Yeah.
It is. So I'm back to just being regular degular me. But
Regular.
yeah, regular. But look, I want to have a chat with you because obviously I've had some very interesting conversations with you around not just yoga, but just life in general. You have some very very interesting perspectives that I probably haven't heard from anyone else in quite a while. you
Mm-hmm.
know so I wanted to have this conversation with you. I think a lot of people can benefit from this conversation as well, but I want to start at base level, right? So just I
Okay.
I know, but if you can just recap sort of like how do you find yourself in Australia, Melbourne today, like that journey, how you find yourself here today.
How do I find myself? Well,
As in
um,
like in Melbourne, how'd you get to Melbourne, as in like you're in Melbourne now,
how did I
like
get to
how'd you yeah
Melbourne?
yeah your
Yeah.
journey, yeah.
Well, moved here, long story short, when I was 16 to live with my dad, who was already living this side. And yeah, from then on, like, I'm here. Like, everything just went fast. So 16, and obviously at that age, you're just kind of like, that's like your adolescence starts there, basically.
Mm,
And then everything else from then just seems to have gone so quick, so many faces, so many places, so many this and that.
hmm.
Until now I'm here. I'm sure you can
Right.
relate to, you know what I mean by
Of
that.
course. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure, for sure. So how many years have you been in Australia now?
8 years in total.
Oh wow, that's quite a bit. That's quite a
Yeah,
while.
yeah, yeah.
Do you consider yourself Australian?
No, I would never tell someone I'm Australian.
No?
It just sounds weird. No, like
Yes.
I'm Australian. Nah.
You know, when I was, because I've been here now close to, either close to or past 20 years, right? And initially, I remember like when I was approaching that 10-year mark, that was the issue that I had, right? Because it's like I'm now, as an adult, I became an adult in Australia, right? And
Yeah.
these are like now where I'm starting to form my ideas about what life is all about, right?
Mm.
And I had the issue with trying to figure out, so should I consider myself Australian or South African? I left South Africa when I was still very young, right?
Yeah, but like
So I,
it doesn't. I feel like that that doesn't matter. It's just more about like how you feel, like what like. Because I would say like I wouldn't say to someone I'm Australian just because that just feels weird for me to say. Like I feel like I relate more to South Africans. Maybe that's because I moved here at 16, which is like I spent a fair bit of my my formative years
mm,
there. So yeah, maybe I say that because of that, but
mm,
that just feels more to me like that way I can still relate to this day, no matter how many years
mm,
I've been here. Like, I've been here 8 years, and like like I know a fair bit about this country. Probably even adopted the mannerisms, but it's like when it comes to relation, I feel like I can just relate more to being a South African than anything
mm.
else. So that's why I still consider myself just more like really South African and not even Aussie. Aussie by paper, yeah, but not really.
But the question is, right? So by the
Hmm.
time you turn, let's say 40 or 50, will you still feel the same? Because you will have spent most of your life in Australia. So you're still going to feel the same by then.
Yeah, I think so. Yes. I mean, like if I still feel the same like 8 years later, then why wouldn't I feel? Because 8 years is a long time, and
But
it's
it's
enough
not,
time to kind of completely. Because I as a person have changed in the 8 years.
mm,
I'm
mm,
definitely like even my ideas about the world are not like how the 8 years ago how I used to think. So
mm, mm.
completely different, but I just still feel more South African. I'm African as well.
Yeah.
I feel like even especially just being here in Australia, like you just kind of, I don't know, feel like more even like your Africanness stands out, basically.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so
That
that
makes
just
sense.
reminds me of like the fact that I am South African and I'll always be. And
Yeah.
I'm so proud to have that bit of like culture and difference. Yeah.
Mm.
So I
It
think
makes
you'll always
sense.
stay the same. Yeah,
It,
because of
Macron.
my views on that.
It makes sense. But I will just say one more thing, right? Also, like
Okay.
I think, because like I said, I felt the same way until I had been longer in Australia than I had been in South Africa.
Mm,
That's when I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, obviously, I'm still South African, right?
yeah.
But now I also relate to Australia, right? So I
Yeah.
have
Yeah.
I have no problem supporting Australia in the World Cup, right? I don't feel like I'm
Yeah.
being trade. I
Yeah.
don't feel like I'm being a traitor or anything like that, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's an interesting thing. It's an
Yeah.
interesting thing,
I
right?
like I
So
said like in the beginning, I feel like it's just kind of like how you feel and like you can pick as well like if we kind of that's the kind of like the privilege that you have. It's like if you feel like like Aussie, yeah, I think I'm more Australian, yeah, I think I'm more
mhm.
like I like either way, you can pick.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah,
just
yeah,
on how you feel.
yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Most def, most def, most def. All right, cool, cool, cool. So
Mhm.
now you're in Melbourne. First of all, this is a great city. So your family
It's
picked
a great
well.
city.
Okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
your family picked well. You didn't have to struggle like some of us who went, because I went from Adelaide first and then Sydney and then Melbourne,
Yeah.
right? So that was very, very hectic. That was very, very
It's
hectic for me.
okay, by
Um,
the way. It's not too dark, right? Like
now
I can still see.
here's Doc. Where you were was pretty perfect.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
That
Actually,
I
now that
just
you
wanted to
say
sit on the couch, but that's okay.
that's okay. Actually, now that you say that, I think I'm gonna move outside so I can Yeah, but yeah, it's Melbourne is such a great city. If I'm being honest with you, like I've never
It
seen anything
is.
like this. Like my gosh, right? And I don't like last time I was speaking to Miriam. I don't know if you know Miriam, right?
Yeah.
And I was basically telling her that I don't think you understand how privileged you guys in Melbourne are to have black people here. So I still today, when I see a black person like at the mall, I'm just like, oh my gosh, like yo, homie, homegirl, you know what I mean? Like, and but Melbourne people just don't get that. You guys just don't get that. You're so privileged. You guys are really that privileged. You don't understand how great it is to live in a city that has black people, to live in a city where there are billboards that have black people. That is I'm telling you, that is a privilege. Like people, I've seen people from Sydney come here and they stop at billboards and they're like, wow, a black person. And I'm like, yeah, man, tell me about it. Like, Melbourne's the place to be. Trust me, Melbourne is the place to be. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, so how do you get into actually, you know what? Before I get into yoga, we've had a chat about relationships and
Mhm.
male female dynamics,
We
and
have, we
you
have.
you have a very interesting perspective in that I don't know, is it because would you say it's because you have a twin, so you have a twin brother,
I
right?
do. Yeah.
And you are more likely to see things from a male perspective as well. Is that an accurate statement to make?
Well, I guess, I mean, like having a twin, it's like he gets to meet my friends, or like at the same time and the same age as well, because, we are the same age. Our friends are most likely have been the same age, like for the most part that we were young. And so because we spend a lot of time, like we were together all the time, like same schools, same everything, same classes. Um, so I knew his friends, he knew my friends, and then we
Mm,
all became friends. So I
mm,
think I did spend as much time with boys because he was around them as he did with girls because he was surrounded by them.
mm, mm.
Playtime was at the same time, for the most part of our lives. So I think my understanding would stem from that. And also
Okay.
interesting, now that, we're older, we don't so much like, hang out with each other's friends, but just like in a personal time, like it's more kind of honest conversation as well. And like he gets to listen to what I have to say, and I get to listen to what he has to say. And we are always we have different perspectives as well.
Mm.
So the debate gets very interesting.
Yeah.
But that's the way in which I learn about another side of the world, and that's the way in which he learns as well.
Mm,
And so
mm, mm.
yes,
Right.
I think my interesting perspective on things and maybe my kind of understanding on the opposite side stems from that.
Right. Let's dive a little bit deeper into that, right? So, in terms of a relationship, right? So, typical relationship, I'm going to throw a scenario out there, right? And you tell me what you think about this, okay?
Mhm.
So, we have a scenario where you have a man and a woman, they get together, right? And it's just a relationship, right? So, they're not married, they get together,
Yeah.
and the girl falls pregnant, and the guy says to her, "Hey, I don't want any kids." Right.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I made it clear I don't want any kids. So please, I can support you. Let's go for termination. And the girl says, nope, my body, my choice. I'm going to keep this baby. I'll raise this baby by itself. Right. And
Yeah.
then she gives birth finally. After she gives birth, after a few years, she decides, nah, this is a little bit difficult. So she goes after him for child support. Right.
Yeah.
And the guy is absolutely, you know, angry. He goes on live and he has a rant about women are this, that, and the other. What do you make of a situation like that? Would you apportion blame to anyone or both of them, or how do you see a situation like that?
Okay, let's dive right into it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, like, in a situation like that,
Mm.
it's so easy to point the finger at the other person, but I think this is just two people who had a different perspective. And I guess, the mom reaching out to the dad, it's like, all right, I decided to keep it like all those years ago, and now it's kind of like, years later, you got to have something to do with it. Yeah, I can see how, from the male perspective, that would be like how you would see it. It's like, okay, like you made this choice when I made this choice. But at the end of the day, the child's there, so it's just kind of like, and you're the dad, and it's like you have to make that choice. And I think it is fair for the mom later in life to be like, yeah, this is actually harder than I thought, because that's the truth. It's harder than they thought. At that time when they made the decision, like, they weren't obviously thinking that way. They were thinking in a different way, and like probably the guy as well, So I don't think you can point a finger at someone. Yeah,
definitely.
It's a lot deeper than that. Yeah.
So what's the reason? Why do you think so many guys are so upset with relationships nowadays, and women? There just seems to be a large group of men who are just upset with women. What do you think is going on there?
I just feel like there's just not enough communication. Just kind of that kind of communication where you're just kind of like willing to listen to the other person and try and understand their perspective, regardless of whether you can see it or not. Like, try and listen, because like the whole point when people fight, it's not just to kind of like just fight for the most part. Sometimes it can be, which that's a childish fight. But it's because they honestly are viewing two different realities. It's like two completely different perspectives, and that's how a fight happens. So it's all about kind of like, okay, tell me your side, I'll try and understand it, and I'll tell you your side, and like then taking it from there. But I feel like a lot of times it's like a fight to win. Like, I'm right. Like, in that, you're both right, really. You both got like the two perspectives that you kind of saw the situation from. So it's all about communicating and listening. And I feel like for the most part, like, I will say this, I hope I'm not hated because of it. Like, for the most part, when it comes to like the modern feminism, it's like I understand that, but it's like, like the girls aren't really listening to the guys, because it's a whole other different perspective. And yeah, that's my answer to that question.
All right, and I don't want to get you in trouble. You don't have to answer this if you don't want to, but do you think girls should listen to guys in a relationship?
It depends on like how you're asking that question now, because I need you to elaborate.
I'm asking in the perspective of leading. Let's say leading the relationship. What do you think about that? And what do you think about, guys that say, I want a woman to be submissive in the relationship? What are your personal thoughts? Would you submit to the right guy?
Me as a personality, as a person, as me, no. And it depends on kind of like what you mean by submit. If submitting as an agreement, then perhaps, but that would have to be a whole conversation of like what submission means. And it would have to result in both our needs being met. Then perhaps, but it just kind of depends on what you mean by that. It's like, what do you mean? Yeah.
Okay.
How are you asking that question?
I guess I'm asking it from the perspective of, I think at its very basic level that a woman in a relationship, say, will make dinner for her man, make the bed when they wake up, will clean the crib, that type of thing. I think that's an expectation that a lot of guys have, and then they get into a relationship or situationship or marriage or whatever, and then that's not what they get, and they get really, really angry or frustrated, I mean, are they justified in their frustration?
That just needs to be had, because there's some like people out there that would just like, gladly take it on. but that's just the conversation that needs to be had, because I'm not gonna be like just submitting and like just kind of like, you know, doing
Mm,
whatever you want me to do, because that's kind of like what you expect.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
So that needs to be a conversation.
Right, right. Okay. No, that makes
Submissive
sense. That makes
and not.
sense. Yeah. So tell me something. You're very big on energies,
I
right?
am. I
Am I,
am.
am, yeah, I guess I'm saying that right, right? Like, so
Vibration.
energies, vibe. Okay, yeah, explain that because I think you're the only person who's explained this whole idea about chakras to me. I didn't even know what all this chakra stuff is. Actually, maybe you can explain that again to me. So you have a line of energy or something?
Well,
I'm not actually.
I'll
And
start
by
with
the
the whole
way,
concept
by the
of.
way, I'm gonna keep it real. Like I'm not pretending when I say it that way. I really 1000% don't know. Like I heard it from you. You know, maybe I was just too lazy to look it up. But yeah, what is it?
Well, I'll start from the whole concept of energy. Like, energy is everything. Like, everything that you see, everything is like, um, that's just like vibrating matter, atoms. You know, if you've studied the atom before, the basic, like the building block of life, we can break it down into molecules, but that's basically the smallest thing. Everything is in constant motion. Everything
Mm-hmm.
is energy. So when I talk about, you know, an energy in a person, is literally that. And everybody knows it. Everybody feels it. Like, maybe not everybody talks about it or focuses on it, but like if you walk in a room and,
Mm,
you know, like if like people are sad, you don't even need to ask, are people sad? You can feel it.
mm,
So that's the energy. You know, like if you walk in a room and everybody's dancing and laughing, you automatically think happy. You know, it's a happy vibration, happy energy. So that's the kind of energy that when I talk about, I'm referring to, and that
mm.
is energy.
Right. So in terms of other people, right? Because I want to get to the chakra to the chakra thing, right?
Yeah.
Can you tell if someone's energy is like, you know, without speaking to them or even if they're not like upset or happy, like outwardly, could you tell their vibration or their energy?
You can sense it. Yeah.
Mm,
You can definitely sense it. Like, I think we all can. Like, it's just a matter of like whether you pay attention to it or not.
right, right.
Really.
Okay,
Yeah.
right, okay. Now, okay, I want to hear you explain
That's
that
called the
the
higher self. If we want to take it further, that's the higher self that everybody has. You know, when you meet someone and like the first millisecond, it's like there's this maybe red flag that you notice, but then the second you notice it, you just dismiss it. Like, and then, you know, you just forget about it. And it's only later on, like, you know, it can be weeks, months, years on, and then something goes wrong. And then you'll go back to that thought, like, I remember I saw that. I saw that.
mm, mm, mm,
Yeah. So it's kind of like the higher self. And that's kind of like also you picking up a
mm.
vibration. Like, we speak in energy. Like, everything is just vibration.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. What do you say to people who say that's just pseudoscience? That's not a real thing.
I asked the question, why do you not say it's a real thing? It's very obvious to me. It's a very,
Mm,
very obvious thing. And so if someone's like, that's just pseudoscience, it's like, are you observing? Are you actually aware of what's happening? Like,
mm,
are you seeing like what is movement? Are you questioning? You know,
mm.
what is everything? You know, everything is energy. And if somebody told me otherwise, for me in my brain, I would be like it's so obvious. How can you not see it?
Right, right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. So in terms of this energy thing, like I said, the whole chakra thing, is that what got you into yoga? Is it like a direct
No,
correlation?
no. That's not what got me into yoga. I'll tell you how I got into yoga. Actually,
Sure.
I was living with a yoga teacher,
Yeah.
and she offered me a free class. And literally the whole reason I went to this class was because it was a free,
Mm,
class, yoga, whatever it is. I'm a curious person. And I went in 1 hour of yoga, and
mm,
at the end, I just felt spiritually good. Like,
mm,
you go to the gym and then you feel good, like refreshed. You feel, yeah, you've worked out. But this was,
mm,
and I'm a fitness junkie, so I know what that feels like. And I know after I did yoga, it was a different kind of like, it
mm,
was so, it's some, like I tapped into my soul basically. Yeah, I felt spiritually good. Like I had just worked out my spirit or something like that.
mm,
Yeah,
mm,
and
mm,
that
mm, mm.
and that just got me curious about it. I was like, whoa, like what is that? Like why do I feel this way? Like, I just had questions about the practice, and like that's how I got into it. Like, researched it, watched like documentaries, YouTube videos, like, what is yoga, and people talking about it, and like it was the same thing. Like everybody discovers yoga the same way. Like what we say, it's like yoga, it finds you,
Mm.
really. Yeah.
Right, right. So
Yeah.
after that first class, did you have a conversation with your family about, hey, this is something I'm considering, or, and if you did,
No,
what did that conversation look like?
that was very slow brewing. After that first class of yoga, then obviously my curiosity was sparked, and it's like, I think I'm gonna go for another class.
Mm,
You know, if I did that, I went for another class, and then I felt good, and then I just started going for more classes. I wasn't very consistent with it at first, but just, you want somebody that does yoga, and you're like, oh, and at least for me, I'm like, oh, I want to be able to do that, like, just handstand. How does someone do that? But then you, because you're not born being able to do that. Somebody will do a handstand, and then you watch the video and they talk about their journey of yoga and how they got to be able to do that. Then you realize I can do it as well. You know, I can get in like practice and get in that zen, because everybody thinks yoga for me, is not just about the exercise. Like the exercise is just that way, kind of work out the body. But yoga for me is something. It's like a practice and like a, a learning of the self.
and learning of the self.
Learning of the self. That's what it is.
So you learn about your body, is that what you're saying?
You become aware of your yourself in as a whole. And as a whole, I'm saying your mind, your body, and your spirit. That's the whole you. That's you. And that's the magic of yoga. That's what it does.
What's the difference between meditating and yoga?
Well, yoga is a moving meditation. It is the same thing in different forms. So yoga is just kind of like movement while meditating. When you do yoga, because it is an exercise, and I'd say the only difference between that and like doing a Pilates is we talk a lot about the breath as a yoga instructor. So we
Mm,
get you breathing, we get you connecting with your nervous system, and your breath is everything. Your breath is everything. Once you stop breathing, like you're not living, right?
of course, yeah.
Taps into that. Like it talks about the breath, like the importance of the breath, and like we delve really deep into it, and like it teaches you how to breathe, because the sad reality in our society today is like not a lot of people are just not breathing right, because of
Oh,
stress.
wait. Not breathing right.
Not
What do you mean by that?
Yes, I said it.
What does
I said
that what does that mean?
a lot of people are not like, we live in a society where you're just in stress just because of how fast things are going and everything, like, and not to mention all the trauma that you pick up along this life. Everyone is not really regulating their breath, controlling their breath, and basically enjoying their breath.
Enjoying their breath.
Yes, I said that.
How I don't understand. It's just, isn't breathing just, you know, something you do to stay alive? How do you enjoy breathing? How do you make the most out of something so basic? I mean,
Well,
I don't know.
and you just said that as well, just then, like, breathing is like, what keeps you alive is life. So it's a sacred thing. So
Okay.
it's yoga explores that. Like, I'll give you an example.
Okay.
Relax, I want you to relax.
Okay.
Relax the shoulders, relax the face,
Okay.
right? And then I want you to take a long breath in and really feel the breath through the nose. Long breath out through the nose. Now, how did that make you feel in the nervous system?
Okay, I guess calm after I blew it out.
Yeah, but really observe it when you inhale and you exhale. Calm, yes, you just said it, calm. Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, that's what the breath
Yeah,
does.
but I can't. Yeah, but I can't walk around going the whole day, right? So how do you? I mean, come on, right? I mean,
No, no. So
work with me here.
also like an exercise. So you becoming aware of your breath, just that simple practice of forming awareness around your breath is a practice to form awareness in general.
Okay, but being aware, like, see, I can be aware of my breathing. That doesn't necessarily mean I'm going to change my breathing. So the question is, how do I know that I'm breathing correctly? Because you said there's,
Not even changing your breathing, like your breath. That is calm breath. When you're calm, that is
yeah.
calm breath. It's just like a breath with no effort, stress free. You're out of your fight or flight mode.
Mm.
That is how you should be breathing.
Right, through the nose.
Fast-paced breath. That's not good.
Have have you heard about, I'm just going to digress a little bit. Have you heard about this idea that people that breathe through their mouth, like their face shape changes and all that? Have you heard about that? Like
Let's
mouth
see
breathers?
that up. I was just
That
reading through to
people
comment.
people that breathe through their mouth is like it deforms your face or something like that, that you got to breathe only through your nose. Have you ever heard of anything like
I've
that?
heard that. I've heard that. Well, I haven't heard that it deforms your face, but I've heard that it's a thing, like breathing through your mouth is not good for you or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, right. Okay. All right. So, okay. So back at yoga. So you're saying, okay, you know, it gets you to sort of enjoy your breathing. So I guess one of the
Well,
first
okay,
questions that
it
was up.
gets you to enjoy your breathing, but
Mm,
it's a technique to keep you calm because what that does, it calms down the nervous system. Yeah,
mm.
and that is good. That's where you want your body to be in a homeostasis, is what they call it. So that's when your body is functioning at a normal, like it's functioning normally without being on a fight or flight or whatever. That's
Mm.
how you want to be breathing. And in our society, unfortunately, that's not how many people are breathing. With all the stresses going on, with everything going on, actually, that's not how
Mm.
you're breathing. That stresses out the body. So it activates a part of our nervous system that's only meant to activate when you're in like in when you're being chased by a lion. This is fight or flight. Like you need to run. Your body's like adrenaline. This is like survival mode.
Mm.
So that's what when you're in high stress situations, this can mean like you have an assignment due, whatever. That's the state that you go into, and
Mm.
being in that state constantly is not good. And this is the state that a lot of people are in constantly. This stresses out the body and ultimately just leading to like physical like diseases or like distresses of the body.
Yeah. Yeah, I have heard
Yeah.
of that. I've heard someone call it dis-ease, or, you know, lack of
This
ease, you know.
is, yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's a very interesting concept. So, how did your family have any issues with you becoming a yogi? I don't know if they're called yogi. Did your family have any issues?
Um, no, they didn't. If anything, they're just curious. Maybe some did. I don't know. I
Yeah,
just kind of I'm doing my own thing, to be honest.
right. And I guess one of the other questions were, well, there is a, I don't know if it's a misconception, but there's this idea that yogis or people that do yoga are flexible, right? So a lot of guys have guys ever hit on you because they're like, oh, you do yoga, so what mounts? You know what I mean? Like, have you ever had that situation happen?
Obviously.
Okay, tell us about that. Tell us about that.
Obviously. What do you
do
think?
how do you take that as an offense, or are you like, yeah, of course they're gonna think so?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because of course everybody thinks so. That's a big misconception about yoga. I mean,
But hang
when I
on, you
first
just
started doing
but
yoga,
hang
I
on a
wasn't
second.
flexible at all. No, that's a huge misconception. I wasn't flexible when I first started doing yoga. I'm
Yeah,
flexible now. My body's open
ex
now, but I
exact.
wasn't.
Yeah, buddy. Okay, listen, no, but that's the point. That's the point. You said it's a misconception, but it can't be a misconception if that's actually what it does. That means it's true. Then yoga makes you
No, no,
flexible.
no, no. What I'm saying is that people think that, like, I guess maybe I just thought my whole question is like people think you're flexible because you do yoga. No, people think that you do yoga
Uh,
because you're flexible.
no, no. People think you're flexible because you do yoga. And
Yeah,
it's right. You just proved it is right.
it is. It is.
All right.
Yeah.
So so if a guy sees you like coming out of yoga class and he hits on you, he's like, cause I know how you get there. How do you take that? Do you take offense to that? Would you take offense to
Uh,
that?
I just roll my eyes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just roll my eyes. Like, not offense. Offense is a big word, but it's like, okay,
Right.
yeah,
So
right,
a
of
lot of
course.
there are a lot of people that are lining up outside of yoga gyms because they're afraid to enter because the first thing they want to know is are they going to have better sex? That's exactly the question. So are you having better sex now? That's what people want to know, right? So they don't want to do it if it's not going to add that extra benefit. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you are an instructor. You literally stand in front and you teach people, so you would know more than the
Yeah.
average person. So, what would you say? And if people are gonna have better sex, how is it? Is it just simply from the movement? Is it regulated breathing? Is it or have you never thought of it?
It's all of it. It's your chakras are aligned, like the body is loose. It's
Loose,
fantastic.
right?
So
Yeah,
yeah,
you
the
see, that's what
answer
I'm
is
saying.
yes.
That's what I'm saying. Sutu says she needs a selling point, so you gotta go in deeper, and explain exactly, like, how exactly, and also here's a question, right? Can someone actually practice yoga and be very enthusiastic about it and go regularly and not have a belief in like chakras? Is that
Yeah,
possible at all?
yeah, of course. Because whether you have that belief or not, you feel good at the end.
Mm.
So you take from the practice what you want and you leave behind what you don't want.
Right, right. Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. That's
Now,
so.
because obviously people love talking about sex, are there people that actually join yoga simply because they say something like, "Oh, there's some intimacy missing from my relationship or my marriage, and I thought maybe this would be the spark that puts things, back in
Yeah,
alignment."
I mean, I don't know about that, but there definitely is people like guys that join up yoga because it's a predominantly female based. Like there's just a lot of females.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Okay.
there's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
R-
like the yoga as well because they leave feeling good.
Yeah, I mean, isn't the Kama Sutra sort of, and I don't want to be disrespectful, right? Because I do know that a lot of people say yoga has a bit of a religious or sacred aspect to it. So I don't want to come across as disrespectful when I bring this up, but I'm an outsider looking in. But isn't the Kama Sutra sort of linked to yoga? Isn't it a
It
little bit? Is
is.
there some sort of connection?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah, there
It
is,
just kind
right?
of like yeah, there definitely is because it kind of taps into the, I guess, the positions that um what how do I say, the positions that can create a certain energy or like tap into some certain energies.
Mm, mm, mm.
Yeah,
Right. So
to
you know what? Suji's asking, if yoga helps with mental health issues, but I want to go deeper than that. I want to go deeper than that. We once had a conversation, you and I, and you mentioned something very interesting. You said something like there can be trauma in your pelvis or something like that. Like you said,
In your hips. In
yeah,
your
in your
hips.
hips. There you go. You said there can
Yeah.
be trauma in your hips. Can you just reiterate what did you mean by that? Can you just explain? I think people might find that interesting.
So, we store trauma. It's not like it's not. It's physical. When you experience trauma, you um download that trauma on a bone level as well. So it's not just like something you need that stays in the brain. It goes into the bones as well, and it's stored in like certain parts of like your body mainly. So like the hips and the shoulders carry a lot of emotional trauma, particularly the hips. And so in yoga, if you do a lot of hip opening postures, so everyone reacts to it in different ways. You get people that open up their hips, and
So,
depending
so
on
hang
their
on,
trauma,
hang on, sorry.
they start
I'm really
crying.
sorry. Sorry to slow you down. And you just said something profound there, but I'm gonna slow you down just a little bit. You said to open your hips. What do you
Yeah,
mean by that? So
to
I don't
release
understand what that
tension,
means.
to
So
release tension.
so give me an idea of what opening your hips looks like from like if I was looking at someone opening their hips, right? Like I say, I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but I'm from the outside looking in, and I want to have like an understanding of what do you mean by opening the hips? Is it literally being in a position where sort of someone's going to open their legs, or is it
Well, it's
doing
kind
things to?
of like when you're doing um the like the splits. That's kind of like something that opens up the hip, but like it doesn't even need to be as intense and as that. It can just
Mm,
be a lunge. Lunging, when you're
mm,
lunging, you tap into the hip.
okay,
Yeah, so
right.
that's what I mean. That's releasing tension from the hips.
So you said something after that. You said some people open, they release tension from the hips and then they start crying.
Yeah, yeah, no, true story. Like that's just because it's just a place where you store a lot of emotional trauma. Like just stuff can come up. Everyone is different. Like for some people, stuff really comes up. For some, nothing comes up. It's in a different area of the body. Like back bends, like the spine as well carries a lot of things. So like things like back bends can bring up stuff, and by bringing up, it's just it can even be something as like a thought that comes up when you are opening up the hips that just takes you back, or that just um it pops up, and then you
Wow.
you can kind of define that for yourself, because it's a personal practice. You can just kind of like become aware of that I just had this thought, and what is it, and then you just kind of like look into it deeper as you practice.
Yeah.
um so that's what happens. That's why it's a very healing, it's yeah, yoga is a very healing practice.
Right. So if
Yeah.
you had a student that had just say opened their hips and they started crying, how do you deal with something like that?
Say it like
Sorry,
that.
sorry. But you know what I mean. Like I obviously that
I
sounded a little weird,
do.
opening their hips, but you know
And
what I
then you
mean, right? So
start crying.
yeah, how do you as the instructor deal with that?
Well, you just let it happen. I mean,
Mm.
yeah, you just let it happen. Like there's no. I mean, as for me personally, as an instructor, it's like if
Hmm.
that thing, like if it happens during class, like
Yeah.
I'll just let it happen. I wouldn't even walk up to the student and be like, are you okay, whatever. Because for me personally, it would be the last thing that I would want someone to do. It's like just let me
Mm.
be. And then it would just
Right.
be something after class that I just kind of, are you okay? And then
Yeah.
yeah, let them kind of decide where to take that.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
but it's a very personal journey. Like
Mm.
you have aha moments. Like you'll be in your practice, and then you just have this whole epiphany.
Mm.
Oh, this answer to the question you've been asking, just because you're just in the zone. You're just in the self.
Mm.
Really, you're just in the self. Yeah.
Mm, mm, mm.
Mm.
Right. Now, but then how do you know whether or not, does it matter whether or not someone could be faking it in terms of, hip opening and you know what I
I
mean,
mean,
like
no, that's not
releasing
the whole
trauma.
point. That's not
That's
the
not the
whole
point.
point. Like, you can't just do that stuff for attention.
Yeah.
I mean, like, well, yeah, because it's not the whole point of the practice. Like, basically, how it works, clients come in. It's like when you go to a hit session or whatever. Clients come in and then they leave. It's not like some ashram where people come in and we're just kind of touching their heads and
Somewhat.
healing or whatever.
Some
No,
wait. Somewhat. Some ash. What?
ashram.
What's that?
An ashram is like I guess almost like where the monks go, like a whole temple for the monks,
Oh yeah, yeah,
and it's like
yeah,
a
yeah,
whole
yeah.
journey for them. No, it's nothing like that. Like, you just go in for your yoga session and then leave.
Right.
And then the whole experience, the journey, it's all personal. Like, I mean, for
Mm,
me, I took up the path of yoga because it helped me, and everybody else has that same reason, helped me with
mm,
whatever that they're dealing with. Everyone's story is different,
right.
and it all comes back to that aspect of breathing. When you breathe, actually what happens is that you calm the mind and you're able to let everything flow freely, and you're able to form that awareness around it.
Mm,
So too, you're able to just form that awareness around it, and get to the bottom of it, basically.
mm, mm, mm.
Yeah.
How deep did you go with yoga? Like, so like, did you study it on a deep level, like its origins and all that, or you
Yeah,
basically
so
just
that
like,
was part of my training to become a yoga teacher.
yeah? So it is from India, I'm guessing.
Yeah, it is.
Look, a lot of people say that yogis shouldn't be charging for lessons. That yoga is very sacred, it's an art, and people shouldn't charge for it. What do you say to that?
Okay, I say we live in a society where, like, I mean, everybody has to survive. And in this society, like, surviving means you got the money to survive. And that's how everyone is approaching it. It's like you are putting, for me, yes, I get paid as a yoga teacher. Um, and which I would still teach yoga still, even if it wasn't for money. But, like,
Mm,
um doing it as a job is like, for me, that's living the dream. If I can do it as a job and get money from it,
mm,
then that's amazing. I'll
mm,
still do it even not for that.
mm.
But I think that's a very unfair thing to say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's not that you'd hope, for I'm not doing this out of greed. I'm actually doing it because I believe it helps, and the money is just the thing that I need to survive.
Right. Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Now,
So I think that's a very unfair.
yeah, right. Would you ever consider going back to South Africa to open up like a yoga studio?
Yeah, yeah, I would love to.
Is that something you're actually doing, or
No, 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 no.
right? What does your
Not
yoga journey?
yet. I have a long life. That's something I'll probably eventually do.
So, what does your yoga journey look like from here on? So, you're an instructor. What's the next thing? Does it like have levels? Like,
Instructor, helping helping people, I guess, in that sense. Because yoga is like a kind of therapy. So I guess my journey just includes holistic methods of changing the world, healing the world. That's just my way
mm,
of doing it. Other people do it through music, through art. I'm just doing it through the practice of yoga, and I guess holistic healing, if you would say.
right, right. Are you the kind of person that you don't take medication? You're more likely to you know like meditate or do something along those lines,
I
or do
do
something yoga
prefer
related?
to heal naturally, like, just lemon, ginger. When I'm sick, have the cold lemon, ginger, tea, honey.
Mm. Hmm.
It does the trick. But, if I feel like I'm going to die, then I will go to the doctor.
Right,
Yeah.
right, yeah, yeah. No, that makes sense. What's the
Mm.
relationship between yoga and these stones? Sometimes I see people holding these stones like they
The
look like
crystal,
gemstone, crystals. Yeah, what's going on
crystal.
there?
It's just an energetic thing. Like when crystals are believed to hold specific energies. Like you have crystals that are good for, I guess, like helping you be able to communicate better, and that's just from the energy that they exude. You have crystals that can help you sleep better and all of that. And yeah, that's the relationship behind all of that. Whether that's a question of belief or it's actually is, I think it really doesn't matter. It's
Mm,
just, if you believe that it does that, then it does that.
right,
Mm.
right. Can you practice yoga and still believe in God?
Yeah, yes, of course.
Yeah.
I
No,
mean,
look,
God
I
is
asked.
like, yeah, no, yeah, you can, because I mean, yogis believe um in God, the idea of God, because God is like one idea, and then you have the different interpretations and um how to get to God or the ways to God. But God is like the same idea in all religions. God is love, God is divine, God is great, God is love most of all. That's in all
Mm,
religions. So that idea is true even in like the yogic um world.
yeah.
Mm.
Right. So, okay. All right. I guess that makes sense. The only reason I ask is because, I think because it originates from India, majority of yogis would probably be Hindu,
Hindu, yeah, but
right?
Hindus believe in God. They have their own
But don't they believe in gods, plural?
gods, yeah. I mean, Hindus, like, when they greet you, it's like they bow, and that's
Mm.
so the whole idea is like from a godhead to a godhead. So they see God in everyone. God is everyone, in other words.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know Hindus believe that.
yeah.
Oh, snap. Okay. What else did you have to learn then? I want to learn now in terms of, you
So,
becoming an instructor.
um, yeah. So you learn the philosophy of yoga, um, the history of yoga, like where it came from, like the language, the Sanskrit, which is you learn the different poses in Sanskrit. You learn what each pose means and what each pose targets.
Give me an
Like
example of what the poses mean.
the poses, like a yoga pose, like a high crescent lunge.
What
Like
on
this is
earth
like
is that?
high crescent lunge. This is like the example, I guess. Eagle arms, like that. That's a yoga.
Okay.
So,
So what does that mean though? Yeah. Oh, sorry. Please continue.
yeah. So eagle would have its own meaning of a pose. Each pose has like a what it targets. Eagle, good for the shoulders. It spreads the shoulder blades. It's
Mm.
good for the arm, like for mobility. Because you're wrapping your arms like that. This is not accessible to everyone. This is something that you learn, but it's like great for the mobility, stretches out the connective tissues, so loosens them up. That's the healing on that level. Also good for the arm muscles, activates the fingers as well. That's an example of the kind of stuff that you'd learn.
Oh wow. Is there medical evidence that yoga actually works, like it has health benefits?
Yes, yes. There's a lot of evidence of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me an example. I've never heard of it. Not to say that it doesn't, right? But I'm just interested because I'm learning about it from a totally different perspective now. I never looked at it the way you're talking about it.
That's a testimony of many. It's like when you have people that have been, like I watched this documentary on Netflix. It's called The Architect of Yoga, something like that. The Architect of Yoga. It's a good documentary, and
Mm.
it um this photographer who he's the guy that filmed the whole documentary. He something happened to his hands, and like he was told that he couldn't use them anymore. And being a photographer, obviously, that was a very tragic thing. But then he had heard about yoga, like yoga came to him in conversation or whatever, and he heard about it, and then he just got curious about it, because someone was like, oh, this thing that just heals the body and heals the mind. And then so he started practicing, and then he went on this whole journey to India, blah blah blah. And that the practice of yoga is something that healed him. and,
Wow.
and this is the testimony of many things, like from injuries, like people who are injured, they get they get told to do yoga. Yoga is not just strenuous. Yoga is stretching.
Mm.
Yeah.
Have you ever heard of, like, personally, any sort of like feel good stories or miraculous
I, I have
recoveries or things of that nature? Yeah,
I
tell me.
have I met this girl. She's I think my girlfriend's like my brother's girlfriend, cousin or whatever, but she got in an accident. um what happened? Yeah, no, she got told, I don't even remember like what the injury was, but she got in a huge accident, and she got told that she was a personal trainer. She got told that basically she can't really um move her body as much, because her body is damaged, it's broken. And she started doing yoga. Her physio suggested that she start to do yoga, just simple stretches. And then that's how she found it. That's how she got into it. She did it, and now she's all healed, like nothing ever happened to her.
Really?
But that's the story of many. That is a testimony. That's the story of many people. And a lot of people, they don't come to yoga. You have people that come to yoga for different things, because they want to feel better, like mental issues or whatever, and a stress in their life. But you also have people that come into yoga because their doctor suggested it or their physio suggested it.
Mm.
And that's how they find it. So people find it in all kinds of different ways. You have people that come because their friends suggested it, but like everybody just gets that same benefit from it. Yeah.
So when you were in South Africa, I'm guessing you didn't really know much about yoga, right? Because you got the free class in Australia, right? But do you know what the industry is like in South Africa in terms of yoga?
I don't.
You don't?
Don't.
Okay. Because I'd be very interested to know sort of like whether or not people are gravitating towards it, or whether people are scared to, dive in headfirst in a place like South Africa. What do you think?
Yeah. Well, I think that may be the case, that a lot of people may be afraid to dive in head first. But like I say that also knowing that in general, a lot of people just are afraid to kind of like dive in head first or like try yoga,
Mm.
because they think you have to be good
Yeah.
at it.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
hear
but
what you're saying, but look, South Africa is going. Sorry for cutting you off. They're going through something very interesting. I mean, I know places like Santon, now they're going through that whole, people eating healthy, that that whole thing, like people being vegans, vegetarians, leading that type of lifestyle. So I've got no doubt that a lot of people would start getting into something like yoga. I do think that a lot of people will make it part of their lifestyle, So I
the
mean, I don't know what.
concept is even known. I know like my friends back home, they're always like, oh, like you do yoga, that's so cool. And like, you have the idea of it or what it is. Like everybody obviously links it or associates it with like being healthy and spiritual and zen and happy and content. Like
Mm,
there's association with yoga. So like everyone
mm, mm.
has an idea of like what it does.
Right. When you start actually doing yoga. So for someone, let's say if I was going to start doing yoga, right? How soon can I start feeling the benefits of it? Right. And have you ever heard of someone say joining yoga because say they want to quit smoking, as an example?
Yeah, I have. Here's the thing. You need to go into it. You need to do yoga, I guess, for the sake of doing yoga, not expecting anything. You need to go into it and do it. And the the healing happens. The healing happens. Like it changes. But I think going into it from an ego based um place is the wrong way to go into it.
When you say an ego-based place, what do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Oh wait, I think your phone is on something like it. I think you put it on something. There's like an echo when I speak. Oh,
Did you hear me?
yeah, I
Right?
can
Is
hear
there
you
still
now.
the echo?
I can hear now. I can hear. Yeah. So ego-based. Yeah. What does that mean?
With going into it with the expectation of getting something for yourself.
Right. Okay. Okay.
Because I want this to
Mm,
happen and I want this to
mm,
happen. That's the wrong way to go into it.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I guess what I'm trying to say is like approaching it from a more um
Uh,
from a
yeah.
more from a more humble space.
Mm,
It's the best way to go into it because it's a journey. Like it's unexpected. You don't know what's gonna come up. You don't know what's gonna happen, and that's the truth with the flows. You don't know what's gonna come up. You don't know. Like I found myself as well. Like, and this was a big learning for me in my yoga journey. Like I found myself. I've been practicing for a while,
mm,
and then I'll go into the same practice, same sequence, and then all of a sudden I can't do anything. I
mm.
can't do anything I'm able to do for all these weeks. Um, and what that taught me when I realized that, I was like, this is something I can always do. And then all of a sudden I can't do it today. Then that's a question on myself. So what's going on? Why can't you do it? And if like, why aren't you open to these poses today? And then that would just tells you a lot about, okay, maybe you're not calm. It's what you're thinking about, and like so that kind of teaches you that it's kind of like it's a mind over matter thing. If you're not in the headspace or a calm place or a humble space, then you're going to be challenged. You're going to fall out of every pose.
Mm.
Out.
Right. Right.
That's when the teachers tell you, like, to notice what comes up when you fell out, and then you're like, that's what I thought about and I fell out. So those are just cues of creating awareness rather than just moving, like, just moving without awareness.
So, based off of what you're saying, it sounds like yoga is the art of practicing being present in
Yeah,
a way.
is exactly what yoga is.
Right, right. Okay, okay. So, if that's the case, then I guess you can make the argument that if someone, because now you have a lot of people that say they'd like to manifest certain things, that someone could possibly use yoga as a vehicle for manifestation.
Yeah, and people do that.
Oh,
That's
really?
the thing. Yeah,
Oh, I did. Well, I don't know that because I'm not part of the life,
yeah,
So, the lifestyle, right? Is that something?
and people do.
Is that something you do at all?
Yeah, well, yeah. Maybe through my practice, maybe I see. For me, yoga is it's like life. Like when
Mm,
it happens on it, for me, it's like equivalent to what happens just as a person who's living. Um,
mm,
so it's like I notice on the mat when I'm on the mat, my state of mind um will manifest how I move. Like that will impact me, like physically how I move, and that's the same when you're off the mat as
mm,
well. how you're thinking, your thoughts will basically predict your day in a way
Right, right.
of your thoughts. Let me say not your thoughts, but the energy of your thoughts
Mm,
will basically predict how the day goes.
okay,
That's that
okay.
I learned at doing yoga, and that's something that is just it's you can use it as a metaphor for life. So yoga is like a metaphor for life for me. And so on
Mm,
the mat, I'm breathing calmly and going into the next pose, taking it slowly, enjoying the journey. Also accepting that when you fall, you just come back in, not getting frustrated. That's a metaphor for like real life when you're out there in the streets,
mm,
Yeah.
mm.
You think a lot better, you make a lot more controlled decisions, because you're calm. And then when you fall, you get up. It's the same.
Mm.
Yeah. It's a
Right, right, right.
tool, yoga.
So how often, let's say I was going to join yoga, how often would I have to take classes in order for me to really feel the benefit? I know you said that, just don't go into it with, an egocentric
Well, that's
perspective, but I mean,
the
how, huh?
day. After a class, like after a class, you will just you after you go to a yoga class, you'll be like, this is what people are talking about, basically.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm referring to is then how many times a week should I do it, right? And does it start to feel what for some people, especially because when you weren't an instructor, did it start feeling like the gym? You know how the gym, people get into it with the right intentions, right? And then after like, 4 sessions, you're like, it's okay. I'll just do 4 push-ups at home. Right. And then next thing you know, you're just not going anymore. Next thing you know, you're paying for, gym lessons and you just don't go, right?
It
Can it turn out to be the same?
it it is. It's a practice. I feel like
Okay.
it's something you know
Mm,
really is a discipline. Like if you like sleeping early and going and waking up early,
mm,
is that's a thing that we know. You know, having enough sleep is good for you, but it's like just something that most of us just don't do. But it requires
mm,
discipline to be able to
mm,
do that. It requires discipline
mm,
to go because who wants to wake up in the morning and go to yoga, or who wants to go to yoga when they can just sit on the couch
mm.
and watch. You know,
Good point.
much more it's relaxing,
Mm,
but then yoga is much more better for you. It's relaxing after. It's like that. It's a discipline. So it just depends on the person. Like whenever you go to a class, you will
mm.
feel the effects. You'll feel that was good for me. But it depends on how often you want to do it.
How how long does a class go for? And this might sound like a silly question, but can you do it by yourself, or like there has to be an instructor there?
Yeah, you can do it by yourself. You can go on
No, but
YouTube.
like if you, sorry, like if you're not an instructor, like
Yeah, you
can you do it
can.
by yourself?
Yeah. I mean, an
So,
instructor is someone who guides and they know the postures or whatever, but you can do it by yourself, and
how,
it can be 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
I guess the point I'm trying to get at, how do you know you're finished, right? Because in a gym, you know you're finished because you've done however many reps. So
Yeah.
what are the yoga reps? Like, how do you know you're done?
The yoga reps, you have sequences, but how you know you're done? We always finish in shavasana. So you just lay down like
Who? Show?
shavasana. So where the posture where you just like lay down and relax. It's called like corpse pose, and the whole idea is just like it's a symbol of like the death before the rebirth. So you literally just relax your body, let the arms fall out, allow the natural curl in the fingers, let the feet fall out or inwards, wherever they naturally go, and just relax. That's
Can
literally how you.
you can you describe that again? So wait, can you describe that again? So it's called the corpse pose, Shavasana.
That's what in Sanskrit shavasana.
Shavasana. And how do you do Shavasana?
You just lay down, just
Okay.
let the arms go long, allow the
So
fingers
like that, like the arms
little
like that. Okay.
just laying
Okay.
down. Legs are like nice, long, relaxed. The toes, they fall outwards or inwards, wherever they naturally go. It's like you
Mm-hmm.
just can let yourself go. That's how you
And
know
what
that's the last pose.
that's the last pose.
Yeah.
How is that a pose? That sounds like you're lying down.
That that is a pose. That's an asana. That's a part of it. So the whole idea is that
So
you've just done.
hang on a second. Hang on a second. Sorry. So are you trying to say when I'm sleeping I'm doing yoga? Because I'm doing some sort of shavasana, like when I lie down there, right? So that's the point. Like, so you hold it, like, so you do the shavasana. How long do you hold it for? And what are the bit?
It's like 5 minutes or longer. It's like yeah, you
Okay,
can sort of like meditation.
you can understand my confusion, yeah? Or no?
Yes.
Because I'm looking at it from the perspective of, hang on a second. So if I take a nap, let's say in that, because I can imagine that sometimes, like especially for that pose, right? If I lie down, I'm very tired. I'll probably pass out after 5 minutes of holding that. Because I guess you hold it, right? So you hold it, right? So I can fall asleep. So my thing is, right, what are the benefits of actually lying down like that? I don't see the benefits of lying down like that.
You're just in a state of calmness. Basically, when you're lying down, it's like you're relaxing. And it's just beneficial to your nervous system.
Right. Okay. Cool. Right, okay. Yeah. Oh, sorry for complicating it. I
Yeah, that's
yeah, look, it's just like I said, I'm from the outside looking in, right? So I always think of yoga a particular way. Now you've introduced something else, like the last pose, you just lie down. And I'm like, hang on a second, where are the benefits of just lying down?
yoga is not that kind of class where like if somebody's not doing something like, come on, you can do it, get up. It's like we
Uh,
allow own pace. Like people can just like if they find it hard, 10 minutes in it, like they just lie down in Shavasana. And they're just more than welcome to do that. And that's your whole class. And then you just get in when you can do a pose and then lay back down.
right. Okay. Um, so I think it was Joe Rogan. He once said that, he goes to yoga and there are some old people in the yoga class with him, and they are so much better than him at it. And I was listening to that going, man, there's no way some old lady is gonna come on, man.
It's a practice.
I don't mean to brag. I can get a little competitive, but come on, man. You're gonna get beaten by a granny. I know it's not a competition. I know it's not a competition, right? But is that possible? Like some old lady can hold a pose better than me?
Person, and that's if they've been, because yoga is a lifelong practice.
Mm.
Like it's if yoga like for the rest of my life, when I'm old I'll be able to do that.
Mm.
But they just probably have been practicing for much longer than he has. It's not about having the ability to do yoga. Like you develop the ability when you are doing yoga.
Mm. Okay. All right. That makes sense. Yeah, I'm not gonna look into it. I think I actually want to do it. It sounds like it's very, very beneficial. It sounds like something I need in my life,
come,
especially right now. Huh?
come to my classes.
Where's your class? Where are you located? Is it closer to your area?
It's in the city on like next to Flinders Lane. So
Oh,
we do
really?
yoga. Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll chat to you more when I jump off here because I really do want to do it. Like it sounds like something I need to do 1000%. When
Yeah,
do you
definitely.
when do you do the classes? Are you like Monday to Friday or?
I teach Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. Yeah. So
Okay,
4 days,
no weekends?
no weekends. No, those are my off days.
Okay. All right. No, definitely. I'm definitely gonna hit you up, right? So before I actually start my classes, is there anything I gotta do? Start eating healthy, stop smoking, stop. Is there anything like that? You know what I mean? Because
Smoking will like stopping smoking will just help, but
by the way, here's a crazy thing, actually, now that I think about it. I I haven't smoked in quite some time. I didn't even realize that I stopped. I don't know why I kept mentioning it during this conversation, but I actually haven't smoked in a long time. I just quit. I was never a smoker to begin with,
yeah. So
right?
you just want to get
I,
it.
don't know what I was doing. I was getting chacharaj. I don't know why I started smoking, but yeah, I don't know. One day I just put it down and just never picked it up. That's
Yeah.
kind of the thing with alcohol. I don't know. It's kind of the same with alcohol. So that's why I'm like, yeah, I need something else. It's kind of like, because alcohol is so awesome,
Mm.
right? That you need to replace it with, I think, right? If you're going to stop alcohol, you need to replace it with something awesome as well, right? I think so anyway, right? Otherwise, your life feels empty, right? But, replace it with something productive, something worthwhile, something you look forward to doing. You know what I mean? So someone saying they had pretty bad sciatic pain that went away after 3 classes with with you
Oh,
now.
who's this?
Yeah, I'm not sure because a lot of people they
Oh,
use
yeah,
aliases these aliases online. So
like yeah, it was John. Yeah,
oh
he,
wow,
yeah, he's my client.
oh
Shout
wow,
out.
that's incredible. Oh, that's incredible. All right, okay, well, I'm gonna do it because I got some pains as well but obviously that's not the reason I'm doing it. I'm not doing it because of my pains, as you said. You made it very clear, don't do it because of that. So I'm not doing it because of that. I want to make it very clear, I'm doing it because of me. All right, I'm
Yeah,
doing it because of me, and I'll probably get started next week. Right? Oh, but you're probably gonna close for Christmas, no?
we're closed during Christmas.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll be open before then and like after that, and so you can still.
Right. Okay. Okay. No, no, no. That sounds good. Look, thank you very much for the chat. I do appreciate it. Like I said, you're definitely gonna see me coming through to the studio very, very soon,
Yes,
right? But before, because I know it's a school night, But before we wrap up, is there anything else that you want to tell me that can help me before I join yoga or anything like that? Also, I don't know what to wear. Obviously, you can't come in like I'm going clubbing, right? Should I wear is it sports gear?
something like sports. Yeah, yeah, that's comfortable. Yeah, that you'll be comfortable in to work out in because you're going to sweat like you've never sweat before.
I rarely sweat, by the way,
Yeah,
even when I
that
play soccer. No, trust me, I don't sweat like that. But also, do you do yoga with shoes?
no, no. You can't do yoga with
Thank God I got beautiful feet, so it doesn't matter. We good out here. We good out here, But I'm guessing you don't do it with socks either, yeah?
oh no.
That's
It's
cool with me. That's fine with me. That's cool with me. Like I said, I got, I'm blessed. Fetally, I'm blessed. You know what I mean? So I don't mind. Yeah, I can't wait to see everyone else's feet. I know a lot of people don't have nice looking feet.
everyone else's feet.
Huh?
I'm gonna be looking at people's feet.
What are you talking about? That's exactly what I'm gonna do. I wanna see if the feet match the face. You know what I mean? Feet match the face. But nah, it is what it is. But hey, namesake, thank you. You know it's crazy, right? So a lot of people, ever since I got this profile, a lot of people don't know my actual name. So I just call myself Zozo. Zozo. Yeah, from the thing. And no, I don't have a food fetish. But yeah. So where was I going with this? I forgot where I was going with this.
Up,
Damn. Where was I going? What were we talking about before?
up, not knowing your name.
Yeah, but we were talking about okay, feet and jeez. You know, I forgot. I totally forgot. I really forgot. I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with the new me has a foot fetish. I'm joking. Nah. But I totally forgot. I honestly forgot what I was gonna say. Wait, let me try think. Hang on a second, Norman. Let me try think.
Talking about your
Damn
food
it.
fetish.
Oh no 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 no. So I think what I was gonna say was the fact that I was about to say, "Hey, goodbye, namesake," because we got the same name, right?
Yeah.
So and by the way, you know, like when someone like Liana says, "Love you, Neo Boo Boo," like it's like, who's that for?
It's
Uh,
for me. It's
who
for
says
me.
that's for you? You see, that's the
Love
point.
you
Who says
too,
that's for
Liana
you?
Boo
You see what
Boo.
I'm saying?
Love
And
you
that's
too.
and that's the point. That's the point. Who knows who it's for? Because we got the same name, and that's the point that I was trying to make. That a lot of people don't know is my name is your name, right? So people that just know me from this profile just call me Zozo. But people that actually know me, they know what my name is. So I was looking at that, going, is that for me?
It's for
Or
me.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I was like, I love you, Neo Boo Boo. I was like, I don't know. That's for Neo. That's my girl. Hey, that could still be for me. You know, I know I look androgynous. I know I look androgynous. No, it's all good. But anyway, girl, Nell, thank you very much for your time today. I do appreciate it. You know, you could have been anywhere else in the world right now, but you're here with me. So thank you very much. Wait, I can't hear you. Where'd you go? Where'd the sound go? Okay, now I hear you.
Yeah, I was just like more of these. Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Have me.
nah, that's all good. Oh, 1000%. We'll definitely have you again.
Yeah.
Alrighty, go to bed. It's a school night. I'll catch you another time, yeah?
Good night, my names. Good to
All right,
chat.
see ya.